Big Ten Today is fueled by Gatorade.
Let's take a look at universities who've all time had the most top 10 picks in the NFL draft. USC leads the way with 46 top 10 picks, then Notre Dame and Alabama, and tied with the Crimson Tide for the third most top 10 picks in NFL draft history, The Ohio State University Buckeyes. And we do believe there will be probably a couple, maybe several Buckeyes who will be coming off the board in the top 10, certainly throughout the first round tonight. And many of them on the defensive side of the football. Matt Patricia, he came into Columbus, did big things, really talented players. Let's start with Arvell Reese, Coach. And he could be the number 2 pick off the board right behind Fernando Mendoza. What do you like about his film?
Yeah, there's some debate as far as if he just didn't do anything by position. We know the priority, obviously, of team is quarterback. But if you just stack guys by positions, he could be at the top of the list of the entire draft. And the first thing that comes out of everybody's mind that they say is Micah Parsons. You know, is he because he played linebacker off the line, and then he was at the line of scrimmage rushing the passer. Very similar to what Micah Parsons did and is doing right now in the National Football League. He's got very similar skills, you know, size-wise and speed-wise. So everyone's saying that, hey, there's a lot of upside, okay, and it's exciting for him. So he's gonna be one of the top 2 or 3 picks, and there's no question about it. And it'll be curious to see, do they use him in that combo position, or do they put him up and say, hey, get to the passer?
And that's one thing that I think is underappreciated by people because they look at traits, which you have to project. But a guy who hasn't been a full-time pass rusher, full-time edge defender, it's not as easy as just saying he's tall and he's fast so he can get it done at the next level. How difficult a transition can that be for guys?
It can be. I tried it with Jason Taylor and some guys, and they really didn't like it. They like it in drills because they're over there with the receivers running and catching passes, okay, rather than banging heads with an offensive lineman. But the reality is the more reps that you can get and the more you can master your craft, as we say, with your different pass rush techniques, the better you're going to get. So, you know, depending the team that he goes to, that will determine it. But I'll tell you what, Matt Patricia, you mentioned him, for all these Ohio State guys, you know, that NFL coaches and general managers, they respect that these kids are coming from a pro system. And they heard the pro terminology of a pro coach, and the transition is a lot easier. It's just what it is.
And I know some of the folks I've spoken to about Sonny Styles, talking specifically about that because he will be an off-ball linebacker. He'll play in the box. He'll have to diagnose at the next level. And when you talk about length and athleticism, and he just recently made that position switch from safety to linebacker. That seems to me, Coach, to be a reason to think he'll continue to ascend just with the more reps he gets as a true linebacker.
Absolutely. You know, and you made a great point. You know, he started 12 games, I think, at safety before linebacker. And the one thing that people don't want to do, they hate to pay a linebacker a lot of money, and then it's passing situation and say, oh, you can't cover, you got to come out of the game. So when you get a linebacker like Sonny Styles that can play first, second, and third down, and he can line up and legitimately cover tight ends or probably slot backs if he has to, that's a priority. And the kid misses I looked up his tackles. You know, he's in the top 10 as far as fewest amount of missed tackles in the entire country. So the guy's a good tackler, and that's a key, obviously, of playing linebacker.
When we talk about Caleb Downs, he's been marvelous throughout the entire 3 years he played of college football. Just 3 years removed from high school, and immediately when he stepped into the Nick Saban defense, he was a fantastic player. And both years in Columbus, he was that as well. I do hear people trying to figure out exactly what is his best fit in the NFL. Can he cover the deep third? Can he be down in the box? Can he run the alley? To me, the answer is just yes. There's nothing he's bad at, but it does seem that some folks are trying to figure out where's his best fit at the next level. How do you see Downs?
Yeah, you're right. They try to shoot holes in a guy like that. You know, all you gotta say is, hey, the guy didn't give up a touchdown for 2 years. Okay, what do you want me to tell you? Okay, but he is a football player, and every coach kind of has their little pet peeve where they really focus in coaching, head coaches. And Nick Saban's his defensive backs, because that's what Nick coached when he got into the NFL, and he always put Alabama priority on defensive backs, coverage. Well, you go to Alabama and you start as a freshman. Yeah. He did that. I mean, that's enough right there for me. But as far as the guy is a great tackler, you can blitz him. He is aggressive enough. You can line him up on that slot and blitz him a lot like Kyler Gordon. Mm-hmm. You know that the Bears use him. So this guy could do a lot of stuff for you, and mentally, you know, his football intelligence is off the charts.
Yeah, you start comparing him with a guy, Kyler Gordon, former Washington Husky, now viewed as the top nickel in the NFL. Caleb Downs could certainly fit nicely into that role as well, especially for his acumen, like you're talking about, in that Patricia defense. In fact, one player who I believe will come off the board as a defensive interior lineman, Kayden McDonald is viewed as the top defensive tackle in this cycle, but he didn't have huge sack numbers, and really this past season in Columbus was the lone year that he even really played and started full time. But he's one of these guys that's 21 years old, and I think there's more juice to his game. He's got more suddenness than is probably appreciated. So I see him as a guy who can make more plays in the NFL than just being some sort of two-gap plugger. How do you see McDonald?
Yeah, he's not a two-gap plugger. You hit that on the head. And I think you put defensive linemen, you were a plugger. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, you were a playmaker, okay?
I can do a little plugging, too.
But defensive linemen, tackles, we're talking interior guys, they fall into two categories. One, use up blocks so the linebackers can make the play, or you got to be a playmaker yourself and get off a block like we're seeing right here and get somebody on the ground. He falls into that category. The only thing it's lacking is inexperience. You know, as he hasn't done it for 4 years. And when you have the talent that Ohio State has, you're going to rotate guys in, which they do. So you don't hold that against them. You know, and then we talk about scheme. Everybody's learning Matt Patricia's scheme. Well, he was playing tackle, nose guard, even defensive lineman. Mm-hmm. It's different. Are you taking on the center? Are you taking on the guard? You know, so there was a learning curve for him also. And you put all that in the basket and say, okay, you got to do it this year. I thought the guy had a very good year. I do. 31, over 30-some tackles, solos, 4.5 sacks for an interior guy. That's a nice, productive year. It really is.
That level of activity for a guy who's 320 pounds, you can't get many guys who can move like that and play with that type of energy at that position. And we saw Carnell Tate offensively for the Buckeyes, just kind of season by season, emerge more and more. And he was in the shadow of other great players throughout his time in Columbus. But now he did take advantage of the opportunity he had to shine this season. So many explosives and chunk plays, throwing the ball downtown. And you need that at the next level. And regardless of his 40 time, you turn on the film, Carnell Tate, you know he can get behind the defense.
You know what? 40 time is what people, that's the only negative people are bringing up. But then you look at his numbers, okay? The guy he was 7th in the country. He averaged 17 yards a catch, 7th in FBS as far as yards per catch per game. The guy dropped 4 balls out of 162 targets. And the one thing that I know NFL people love is how does he do in a one-on-one situation? Yeah. And they love him when they call it a 50-50. Ball's up in the air, it's me and you. Can I go up and get the ball? This kid does it.
He makes things look easy. He's an easy mover. Yep. He is so smooth in and out of
best
his cuts.
Route runner. They say could be the best route runner of all the receivers in this year's draft.
The lasting legacy of Brian Hartline, what he did on his time in Columbus, on his way out. You look at all these receivers he's trained and how many of them have gone on to greatness.